everybody, welcome back to an episode of the 3 Count. I'm War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about Monday Night Raw post Money in the Bank. So go ahead and let's go ahead and kick this off with some very shocking news. We kicked off the show with and for the interest of this could be the last time we see this one particular individual, I'm just going to hold off on my joke. Anyway, we kicked off the show with the man, the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, coming to the ring carrying Asuka's Money in the Bank briefcase. Yes, for those of you who tuned in to Money in the Bank, or those of you who haven't, Asuka is the new Miss Money in the Bank. But we kicked off the show with Becky Lynch coming out with the briefcase in tow, and she was caught up in her emotions. She was torn between happiness and sorrow because she's at a very conflicting time. Of course, Asuka then comes out, wondering what's going on. That's her briefcase, and Becky's like, "Yeah, this is your briefcase, but I talked to the powers that be, and we decided to raise the stakes in the Money in the Bank match." And then she pops open the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase, and there was the Raw Women's Championship. Apparently, the Raw Women's Championship was on the line in the Women's Money in the Bank match. Asuka is the new Raw Women's Champion. She has done everything. Dominant NXT run, longest undefeated streak in NXT, SmackDown Live, SmackDown Women's Champion, there we go, Tag Team Champion, Royal Rumble winner, Money in the Bank winner, and now Raw Women's Champion. She has done it all, folks. But Becky Lynch told Asuka she is the champion. Asuka then celebrated, dancing all around the arena, or all around the ringside area, including commentary. And she comes back into the ring for Becky to say, "Yep, you go, be a warrior. I'm going to go be a mom." And it was just, it was so feel good. Because Asuka then just she's like, "Wait a minute, what did you say? You're going to be a mom?" And just, she started chanting Becky's name, and, it was very nice. And for a little bit, you gotta feel bad for Becky because she's having to give up on the one thing that's just meant her entire life. Even if it's just for a little while, she's having to give up on wrestling. Because, she made it known that she announced her pregnancy. And, we all love Becky Lynch. She's fantastic, and she's definitely gone from just irrelevant to highly relevant. And yeah, we are genuinely happy for her, and on behalf of the 3 Count Mafia, we all say congratulations, and we're gonna miss you because she's gonna be off TV for who knows how long. Who knows if she's even coming back. But as far as that subject is concerned, don't think of it as goodbye. Smile and say, "See you later." Thank you for all you've done. Anyway, moving back to to the stuff backstage. We come back from commercial, and basically the entire face locker room pours out to, hug Becky, congratulate her, this, that, and the other. Of course, it all kicks off with Rey Mysterio talking about the joys of fatherhood. Anyway, yeah. We then get a no disqualification match between Bobby Lashley and Humberto Carrillo. I'm sorry, Humberto Carrillo. Of course, okay, yeah. Of course, this match came about because Bob Lashley got himself disqualified in the last chance gauntlet match last week on Raw against Humberto. So this was a fairly decent match. Bob Lashley won with a full Nelson to Humberto Carrillo. Later on in the episode, MVP was giving Lashley was talking to Lashley, and it was really good. MVP's really smooth on the mic. Basically talking about how Bob Lashley's been overlooked despite his size, his power, his accolades, everything that brought him to his dance. He told him the last time you were in a title opportunity was when I was just stepping into the company. And that is true. And MVP just basically extended an invitation to allow him to manage um, Bob Lashley. Because he said the only person that's keeping Lashley down is Lashley himself. When is he going to let Lashley out? Of course, he said just sit on it, stew on it, think about it. Then, as he's walking away, he talks to Lana, and long and short of it, he basically calls her a cage, blaming. Basically saying you're the reason Bob Lashley's being tied down, and then she ruins the whole segment by just screaming her freaking head off. I mean, you would think, being that she's a concerned wife, that she would just be like, wait a minute, I'm holding back my man's career. Hang on, how can I fix this? You think logic, but no, just lots of shouting, lots of screaming. Next, we had Angel Garza taking on Akira Tozawa. Of course, there's dissension amongst Zelina Vega and her clientele. Of course, Angel Garza and Andrade were just basically treating Austin Theory like the redheaded stepchild. And during this match, Angel Garza was, just took time to mock Austin Theory. Of course, he had Tozawa just in the palm of his hand. He put away Tozawa with the wing clipper. After the match, of course, Theory, Andrade, and Garza were bickering back and forth, and Drew McIntyre popped out looking for a fight. He stepped into the ring and asked, one of the three to step up to the plate. Austin Theory steps up to the plate, and he gets Claymored the hell out of his boots. Garza and Andrade take the time to laugh, and then Garza gets Claymored, and that leads to Drew McIntyre taking on Andrade in another thrilling one-on-one bout between them. Of course, this was highlighted by just thunderous, echo, gunshot-like chops just reverberating around the arena as both men peppered each other. It was just out of sight. Um, Long or short of it, Drew McIntyre put Andrade down with another Claymore kick. Fairly competitive match. After the match, Drew McIntyre talked about a new feature that WWE is implementing. Basically, it is an invitation. Basically, it's wild card rule, except for I don't know. It sounded less stupid. But basically, folks from Raw and SmackDown can be challenged or challenge folks on the other side of the brand of the spectrum. And Drew McIntyre revealed that he'll be fighting next week SmackDown's King Corbin. Moving forward, next we get Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, two SmackDown women, hosting a Moment of Bliss. Of course, they can jump ship between Raw and SmackDown because they are the reigning WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They start, talking about Becky's announcement, then going into a little spiel about, oh, yesterday was Mother's Day, and blah, 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 blah. Out came the return of the Iconics. It's great to see them back on TV. And it felt even nicer because I got to listen to their episode of the New Day podcast, and it's charming, it's captivating. Basically, Iconics were looking to make their return on over Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, which that led to a tag match between the two, where the Iconics put away Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross with an inverted magic killer, and it was announced later on in the show that Billie Kay and Peyton Royce of the Iconics will take on Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Can't wait. Next, we had explanation of what happened to Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black at Money in the Bank. Of course, for those of you who didn't watch, Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio both got thrown off the roof of Titan Towers by Baron Corbin. Ray said the only reason why him and Aleister Black didn't die is because they landed on a second roof, 6 feet lower. Yeah, about the time they realized what happened, the match was over. So now they're gonna team up, even though they're less than 100%, and they're just gonna fight the good fight. Seth Rollins strolls up into frame, and he is out of sorts. He's clearly traumatized by his loss to Drew McIntyre at Money in the Bank. His hair is all a mess, and he's just got 1,000-yard stare. Ray looked at him and said, "Hey, may the best team win." Offered a handshake. Rollins just looked at him and just trudged on. The segment ended with Ray saying, "Wow, what a dick." Yeah, good stuff. Next, we had R-Truth, Cedric Alexander, and Ricochet taking on MVP and his boys, Brandon Vink and Shane Thorne. Yeah, during this match, they just had R-Truth. They kept cutting back to R-Truth, who was debuting his Pretty Ricky persona, which was just him crossing his eyes and putting on some fake hillbilly teeth. Yeah, Truth pinned MVP after a lie detector. Afterwards, Lashley took apart Truth and told MVP, we need to talk. Which I'm looking forward to what's going to happen between those two. Next up, before getting to this segment, Samoa Joe. Just a class act on the mic, on the on commentary. He was killing it. He had all sorts of good one-liners, all sorts of insightful rhetoric, all this, that, and the other. Samoa Joe's great. If he's not going to wrestle, make him third man commentary. Hell, make him jump between the two. Just don't ever, ever put Jerry the King Lawler on commentary ever again. Oh yeah, there was a Jinder Mahal promo, whatever. Um, Earlier in the night, Shayna Baszler gave her opinions on the Becky Lynch pregnancy. She had two promos. Basically, were just oof because wow, she swung high and low on these because during the first one, she basically called Becky Lynch stupid for getting knocked up while champion, and throwing her career away on a to raise a parasite who will suck because we know who the dad is. Oof. And then later on during the night, when she was confronted by a incredibly cheesy Natalia, who had the brilliant line of, "You dare mock the joys of motherhood?" Yeah, Shayna basically just ate her alive and said, "Well, it's bold for you to sound like that, even though the Hart family dynasty is going to end with you." It's just oof. Um, for whatever reason, AJ Styles was watching the sneak peek of the Undertaker documentary, The Last Ride. Come back from commercial, AJ is pissed, even though he's supposed to be traumatized by the Undertaker. Next, we had Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, I'm sorry, Murphy. Seth and his buddy Murphy. Which it just wound up being a 2-on-1 match as Seth Rollins just stood on the apron, just catatonic. He was out of it. Didn't go for a tag, didn't try and, get Murphy's back, just and Murphy was doing his best trying to fend off both Mysterio and Black, who were at 50% respectively. Of course, that all changed when Rey Mysterio knocked Seth Rollins off the corner, and while Rey was going for the 619 on Murphy, Rollins caught the 619, threw Mysterio to the floor, and the match ended in disqualification. After the match, Seth Rollins just beat down on Rey Mysterio, and when Murphy tried to back him up, Seth basically told him, "No, get back, stay back." And then Seth then proceeded to ram Rey Mysterio's eye into the steel steps. And then as Seth Rollins got halfway up the ramp, he just kind of snapped back to normal. It's just like, whoa, what the hell have I done? After the commercial break, they're loading Rey Mysterio up into the ambulance, and he's got an eye full of blood. Thank God they're using color for this one. Seth tries to apologize to Rey and Aleister Black, but yeah, Aleister Black jumped Murphy. So yeah. Throughout the night, we had segments dedicated to the Street Profits taking on Viking Raiders in a 2-on-2 half-court basketball game. The Street Profits basically schooled the Viking Raiders while the Viking Raiders had no idea how to play the game. But Viking Raiders finally scored a basket at the end of the game when Street Profits won 74-2. Yeah, Street Profits are rubbing it in Viking Raiders' faces. Ha ha, we beat you. You can't do anything better than us. That's when Ray Rowe just basically said, "Oh, we let you win." And then Viking Raiders basically played like they've been playing all their lives. So, yeah. And next we had freaking clickbait ads. You just gotta see what's on them. Anyway, next we had Shayna Baszler taking on Natalia. No surprise here, Natalia caught the L on this one. Shayna was going to go for an armbar, I believe, when Natalia rolled through with it, and when she rolled through with it, Shayna connected with a knee to the face. 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Natalia threw a tantrum for whatever reason. And finally, in the main event, we had the confrontation between the rated R superstar Edge and the Viper Randy Orton. Edge basically gave his 2 cents on the matter. Basically, he's not worried on inflicting any more torment on Randy Orton. He's done. He got his payback. Randy Orton came out and congratulated Edge. He's just like the better man won. Randy, left. He was kind of smirking. He turns around, gets back in the ring. He's like, hold up. I couldn't do it. I couldn't say it. The better man did win, but not the better wrestler. And he said Edge has been hiding behind hid behind a stipulation after his 9-year return. Meanwhile, Orton's been doing this for years. So he challenged Edge to a normal wrestling match at Backlash. And Charlie Caruso severely oversold it, saying this could be the greatest wrestling match ever. I beg to differ. I'm pretty sure Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada have that distinct honor. Or maybe Shawn Michaels Undertaker. Who knows? Anyway, that is Monday Night Raw post Money in the Bank. So, that being said, if you miss Rod's opinions but not his face, he has a podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime, on the Castbox app. Go check it out. He talks all about sports and wrestling. Also, call him an asshole because I told you to. Anyway, that being said, I'm War Machine MJ, and we will see you guys next time. Bang!